the moisture could not escape. So you do need good ventilation in your hive to carry away the moisture. That's the first time I've ever seen green and blue mold in combs in my life. But it was a mess. The bees stunk to high heaven too. And in loving his bees, he killed them. Now people say to me, well, couldn't I use the siding that has a foam interior? You know what they call that?
Insulated siding.
Foam core?
Foam core?
Like Celotex?
Probably, maybe. But the thing is, you could put an inch of insulation on the outside of this, but the thing you need to remember, when it is cold, that insulation holds the heat out if it gets warm. And the bees need to take flights because they do defecate in the hive if they cannot go normally. And it's just an unhealthy condition in the hive if they don't fly when the weather conditions are right. Black paper has this advantage. Number one, it's thin. And number two, when the sun comes out, it heats you. It absorbs the sun's rays. So the bees will actually respond better with tar paper than they will with an inch of foam or anything on the outside of your hive. It used to be common that people had boxes. They would take a platform, set their bees on it, then they would have boxes arranged that would set down over the hives. They'd pack the boxes with leaves or sawdust or whatever, and then put the lids on. And you don't see that done anymore, basically because it's a lot of labor, and your bees don't survive too much better than what they would with nothing done. And the key to, I'm going to take this across the key to your beehive, Langstroth said back in 1852 when he wrote his first book, it's really simple. Strong bees, plenty of stores, and good ventilation. 3 things. And it hasn't changed. Strong bees, plenty of stores, and good ventilation. And if you can provide those things for your bees, the bees should be okay. Well, I thank all of you for coming out tonight. We're going to probably end up a little bit early because the sun goes down so much quicker anymore. But if there's any food out there to get had, or go ahead, hot coffee or something.
Hot chocolate?
Hot chocolate.
Great. I'm all for that.
Anybody else want any of these
no,
little 2-inch guys? I have some cut out already. If you want, put some on.
I'll tell you something. All we have fits right on top of hive, somewhat like a telescoping cover. This is pretty dirty, but there is a cloth underneath the metal top. And what you do is you sprinkle Bigo or any other kind of product that's made to drive bees, honey robber is another product, but you just sprinkle that on this and set this on top of the hive, and the fumes drive the bees down out of your honey supers. Don't dare leave this on for very long during a very hot day. You'll drive all the bees right out the front entrance. The bees coming out behind will knock the ones in front of them out. Okay? And then the last item is an interesting item that most beekeepers don't see. But for the last item that we've got in the bee yard this year is, what is it? I'm going to tell you what it is. This is a queen excluder in a frame that is used in a number of different ways. It's used in the queen business to isolate a queen in the hive to maybe 2 or 3 frames. So you can always find the queen. It's not used in a production hive basically because you need that queen to be out there laying and producing brood all the time in all the frames. But if you need to ever isolate a queen, you can easily do it inside of a hive by placing a device like this. Now this extends down to the bottom board and up against the inside of the hive, so there's no space on the ends for the bees to cross over. And so when you put your inner cover has to be spatially designed to make sure bees can't transfer from this side back over to the other side. Usually inner covers will have a slight space. If you ever want to isolate,
Hard to compete against that, isn't it?
Pat Chambers was asking a little bit earlier about, she has a hive that we took out of her church, and we tied the comb, the old comb, into frames, put rubber bands around them, and it's not really too sightly, but she is concerned about, I told her she needs to replace those. Well, next spring, she's going to go about taking those frames out, replacing those frames with new frames so that all the frames in her hive are nice and neat. But you could take something like this, move those frames to the other side from where the queen is at, let all the brood emerge from those frames, then take them out and just set them out, and then take this out, and you really wouldn't have to worry about whether you have brood in your comb or not. So there's a lot of uses for something like this. You could probably make one of these if you have a queen excluder. You can make one of these up pretty easy. It would require you to destroy probably a good queen excluder in order to do it. But it's an idea. And this one I've used, haven't used it for probably 6-7 years. But it's one of those little pieces of equipment I've got in my round, and somebody someday is going to say, what in the blank is that? What did they ever use that for? But it is, it's a tool just like the Snell gray board and everything else. So we've lost our daylight. And